to another Scrapping Irish video, guys. Much appreciate you giving up your time, and hopefully that you'll maybe subscribe or hit the like or comment if you're already a subscriber. I really appreciate you giving up your time coming in and checking out my videos. And so what's this video about? I hear you say. This video is about the little bits I picked off ink cartridges. So you know, ink cartridges always have a little bit of gold on them. So if you haven't seen the video where I started this series, haven't come back to the series in a while, so I'll put a little link up somewhere in here in the corner. So if you want to check that out, and you'll see where we started the series, where I got these little cartridges, the pins from, or not the pins, the actual connectors with the gold flashing on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting these into copper chloride. So again, guys, if you don't know what copper chloride is, it's where hydrochloric acid will take copper from underneath the boards or your ram sticks or whatever, and the copper goes into solution, and the gold is left there then afterwards. So essentially what it does, it eats away, etches away the copper from underneath the board, and leaves you with just the gold floating around, usually in the liquid. And from time to time you will need to add some more hydrochloric acid to it to freshen it up, so that it can continue working on different batches. So what I like to do is to really use my copper chloride till it's completely used up. As you will notice in a video I done a while back with gold cornered VGA chips, where they the first part of the video, you will have noticed that I didn't get the gold to come off. That's because I had saturated my copper chloride. So by putting in some fresh stuff, I was able to get it to work perfect for the second part of the video. But that's neither here nor there, but that's how it's done. And so today we're going to use some of that copper chloride that's still left over, that from doing that video. I have some copper chloride still left over, so we're going to go outside and do it. I won't be using my mask outside because it's out in the open air, so I'm not going to bother with the mask. I won't be out there for too long at it, and I won't be too close to it. I'll be leaning out over the camera and stuff like that. The camera will be a lot closer to it than me, but I will have the gloves on. So again, if you're doing this in a shed or somewhere in an enclosed area, please always wear your mask. And if the breeze was going the wrong way, or if I do smell any fumes whatsoever, I will immediately put on my mask anyhow. But for the start of the video, I won't have the mask on, and if I do think I need to put it on for safety reasons, I will. Other than that, we're just going to go out and pour this in, and you can watch me pour this in, and then we'll check it every couple of days and see how we're getting on with it, and see what gold we end up at the end. We won't end up with much because this is only a small amount. This is just to show how the process works, and that's the only reason I'm doing it, is to show the process so people can learn. And my advice will be collect up a lot, maybe fill a couple of jars of this before you go doing it, so that you get a lot more gold return for your acid. But because I'm reusing the acid in other videos, I'm getting the full value out of the acid in the long run. It's more my time on this one. So let's head out there and let's do this. Okay guys, so we're outside here now, and we have the copper chloride, which is just sitting here. I have my bubbler, which is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the bubbler in. I'm going to put a little bit of glass above it, which actually holds it in place and means that we're getting our bubbles. And we're just going to pour this in. Simple as. So that's it. We're just going to leave that in there, and we're going to let that work away. I'm going to put a cover on it so that no water can get in while it's working outside, in case it rains. And we're just going to let that work away for a few days. We'll check back in it and see how it's got on, and hopefully we'll should see some gold floating. As you can see, I already have some other stuff going there, but you'll see a video on that at some stage. There's a video working on what's in there. So let's check back in a few days and see how we got on. Okay guys, so it's been a few days and we're ready to see if this has started to release the gold. So I can see some gold already, and so try and get you a better view. So if you look, when I stir it up, we have gold floating around. So you know what that means. Time to filter. I'm sure there's some that hasn't been fully taken out yet, or the gold hasn't been fully taken from it, but we'll get that at a later date. We won't worry too much about the ones that haven't filtered out or haven't released the gold yet. Can't beat seeing the gold appearing. Well, maybe just when you do your gold drop. After you filter and after you do the aqua read and all that, probably the next best feeling is seeing the gold reappearing. So that's one filter working, and we've another one on this side. So I'll move it to the side. Easier to work with my right hand. So again, this will be kept, this copper chloride will be kept for a future. And I'm probably doing the SIM cards, I'll use the same copper chloride. And I'll try and use every last bit of the copper chloride before I try and recover the copper from it. So you can still see a lot of that gold floating around in there. There's still a few bits left on the items, so we may put them back in again after I take them out, clean them off, and see what we have. So let's go back to the first filter. So you can also see on the base of this I've got some gold, so just wash it off, make sure it all comes off, and if it isn't off I'll just put it in this other container over here and I'll rinse it off with some water in a minute. So as you can see there, you can see the gold floating around in around there, so let that work away, and again you can see it all floating in there. So I'll filter the rest of that out and we'll come back and we'll see how we got on with it. Okay guys, so I've nearly filtered all these out, just have these few bits to do here, and what I've done is I'll just put that aside for a second. All the ones that are fully cleaned, so there's no gold left whatsoever on them, I'm putting in here. And any that still have gold, like these ribbons here, who still have some of the gold foils on them, they'll go back in for another next time I'm doing the next batch of them. But for the moment I'm just finishing up these, and this is what I've got so far from the filtering. So you can see in there we have some gold flakes in that filter and more in that filter. But I'll just need to finish these ones off, then we can dry them out of the filters, get them into a container, and we can have a look and see what we end up at the end. But this is a slow, tedious job, because as you can see, some of them will, like that, will have completely been cleaned out nearly, but you can see little flakings stuck to them. Very hard to see, but because of the thing. So all I have to do is, I have to get the spray bottle, and I have to wash down each one of them individually. Oh, and then knock it back in so I can collect more. But you can see there the flakes even getting on the gloves. So they have to be washed down so that we get every last flake out of it. So again, as I say, I've washed these already in dilute, or in dilute, in distilled water. And then I drain that out, and then I'm going to go through these last few bits and then get that out. It's a slow, tedious bit of work, this part, but it's kind of what you have to do when you're down on these small bits. But you can see there, like you can see where the gold is stuck to them. They just need to be washed off. Even there when I put my glove in, you can see all the gold that'll stick to all the gold flakes that actually stick to the glove. So that's what I'm at. And then it's just a matter of washing the glove off and washing the flakes back down into it. So I'm going to continue on doing that, and then we're going to filter out the last of these. We'll come back for me just filtering out the last of these flakes that's left in here, and then we'll dry it out and we'll see what we're left with. So let's see how I got on. Okay, so I've cleaned out all the little bits of plastic, and all I'm left out now is these foils. Let me zoom back out because we went in too close there. So that's all I'm left with is these gold foils. So all I'm going to do now is filter them in to these filters. So you can get a look at it. So this is the part that I think, besides the gold drop, as I said earlier, this is the part that everyone likes. So you get to see the efforts of your hard work, and them little things are tedious. So just let that drain through there, and we'll get the second one, and then it's just a matter of drying that out, and we'll be adding that to our other flakes that we've already got from previous processes of doing BGA chips and RAM chips and stuff like that. So I just need to get the spray bottle, and we'll just spray these down into it. Might as well make sure we get every last flake. They're too valuable to be letting go, and I know there'll be people out there saying, oh my god, the amount of effort for this, blah blah blah. But it's more the fact of being able to do this. This was something that was going to end up in probably a landfill or something like that, and I've managed to get gold out of it. So there's not many people out there doing it. Well, there is probably more and more now, but of the normal population, it's a very small percentage of us that are doing this, and it's just something that maybe more people might be able to do, rather than have it going to waste or having the big companies getting all of it. Why don't we all just have a little bit of share of it? Because as we know, gold value is fairly high at the moment, and if we can hold on to it, if you're not stuck for it, hold on to it, and maybe in 20-30 years time it may come in handy. So that's my idea anyhow, that I don't need it straight away now, but maybe in 10 years time or 15 or 20 or maybe years time, this may get me out of a jam of some sort. So let's try it out and see what we ended up with. Okay guys, so I have now brushed off the filters, let them dry as much as I felt was good enough anyhow. There's still a bit left on the filters, as you can see, but I'll let them dry out, and then we'll remove, let me just get a filter there, so you can see there's still a few little bits of the gold foils left, but we'll let them dry out a bit more than filters, and then I'll brush them off as well into this, or into the little container. So that's what I ended up with, guys, in the gold from them. So it's a lot more than I thought from the little amount I done, because I just took a sample of what I have to do, and I just put them into it. So what I'll do now is I'll just add that to this little tub, which already has gold foils from previous videos, and we'll just add them to this. And when I get this tub filled up a bit more, we'll be putting them into the aqua regia. I'll be actually using these a bit to help neutralise down some of the jars I already have with gold foils that have dissolved in them, but to try and use up all the nitric acid in it, I'll use more of these gold foils. So hopefully that will. So just make sure we brush out every last one of them. So there we go, guys. The tub is getting a bit more in there, so you can see some nice gold foils in there. So that will eventually end up as a gold powder, a bit more purified, and that can go in then. Once I've turned that into a powder, that can go in my other powders that I've already done. So that's it for this video, guys. Again, I appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch the videos, everyone that takes the time to comment, leave a like, share it out, whatever way you want to do it. I do really appreciate it, and hopefully you'll stick around and catch the next video. So thanks, guys, and keep on looking for that gold.